All right, Chad Henner, welcome to Grimdark Enlightenment. I am Kevin Deanna. I'm here with Chad.
What's up, folks?
And today we are going to be discussing a critical text, which I think, even though it was meant as satire, we would all be better off if our brave and armed services had this, which is the Imperial Infantryman's Uplifting Primer.
I'm feeling uplifted already.
I feel so much better.
By and large, thanks to this first sip of tea.
You know how
I spent my entire first half of the day on my knees doing fucking flooring.
On your knees again, huh? Oh,
well, I was burning a decorative black sun in the floor of some oak floor. You got me. Maybe if you guys would be paid subscribers, we wouldn't have to spend so much time on my knees.
You have to pay your dues somehow until you get that sweet Substack money.
Everybody pays.
Everybody pays. Every man has his price. Mine is surprisingly cheap.
Yeah, same.
What's great about this is it's another perfect example of, oh, it's satire. It's so over the top. It's so silly. And obviously some of it is, right? Obviously. Right. But then you're reading it and it's like, yeah, this makes way more sense than anything we do now.
Of the texts, a lot of the ones we happen to look at in the lore, this one I think reads very cleanly as satire. But again, there's enough elements in there where you can understand, like, yeah, it is, but it points at like greater truths and things.
And it's not totally dishonest. I mean, there's propaganda in there where it's like, oh, the aliens are stupid and weak, and it's like, okay, but
you want.
Right, yeah, you want to hate the enemy. I know we're not supposed to do that now, but
well, no, I mean, not just hate them, but
despise them.
Not just that either. You don't want
armor of contempt.
I mean, can you imagine if you're moving guys out to be like, hey, you're gonna fight these giant green bastards? They're like fucking huge and rip things apart and all this shit, and you give them like an honest briefing about it. When guys that haven't seen combat, they'd be shitting themselves. It would not be great.
Right.
And yeah, they'll figure out pretty soon that what's in the primer is not exactly accurate.
Yeah.
Once I get it, because it'll talk about how, the greenskins, even though much larger than men, they're actually weaker. Their muscle size doesn't really matter. They're scared of loud noises, which is a really funny thing it said about orcs. Like, I'm pretty sure that's their whole bit. Like, the louder it is, the better they love it. One good volley of last fire will scare them all away. And they'll go running back to their warlocks. It's all kind of silly and a bit tongue in cheek. But you think about it, it's like, yeah, you don't want people to face cowardice before they get into the moment.
Yeah.
But once they're in the moment, that decision's already been made. You are in combat now. Those things are trying to kill you.
You kind of have to gas them up.
So whatever it's at, it's like, cool, you go in there confident that you're going to win and confident in yourselves. And yeah, there's going to be a big shock when you come up against it. But if you're already there.
Yeah. I mean, 15 hours gets into that, right? I mean, like he goes in, he realizes everything's going to suck, but after a little while, after a surprisingly short amount of time, for all intents and purposes, he's a veteran. And he approaches things differently, and he goes forward. Now, this, of course, is ridiculoly expensive. You don't know how many hours I had to spend on my knees to be able to afford this. But there's actually several editions. This is the Damocles Golf edition.
I engaged in some freebooter Rothbardian piracy.
A far more honorable way. A far more honorable trade.
And get a tooth out of here. There you go.
But this one actually gets into the Tau at the end, too, which is pretty interesting.
I was miffed that my version of it didn't have that, because I saw some of the illustrations from it. It's like Tau is these dumb caves.
Yeah, right.
The Tau are very dull and stupid and uncreative as a race. And I'm like, yes.
Got the Chinks number.
I love it. Anything that bums me out or bums them out just fills me with glee.
What it reminds me of is the only comic I ever read when I was a kid was the Punisher, the Armory issues. Did you ever see those? Where it was just, I mean, this is one of those things you could never do now, where it was just pictures of guns. It was just, here's all the different guns that I have. Here's all the different weapons that I have. But when you're 12 years old, you think this is like the coolest thing of all time.
What are you drawing when you're 12?
Guns,
like besides Space Marines, but usually you're drawing like bolters and chainswords and guns and shit.
Right.
In the books, you're like, oh yeah, this is cool.
And if you do it in school, then you get sent to, I mean, now you'd be sent to a counselor and they put you on a million drugs or something. Which, of course, then you actually take the guns.
They cut that dick smooth off.
Right. I mean, then you.
Like from the root.
Right. And then that's how you move ahead in this world. I mean, that is the key to becoming a heckin' decent human being.
But for that, hearing that, I don't feel very uplifted.
No. But when's the last time you felt uplifted by anything official or coming from a reputable institution or from an expert or anything like that? I mean, this is the whole thing is that, I mean, let's set the stage here because it's the kind of thing where the way it's set up in lore, and this is one of these great things that 40K, I love it when they do stuff like this where it's an in-universe product And then kind of at the bottom, you can be like, oh, these are the authors who actually wrote it, that kind of thing. But in theory, this is something that you would have in universe. And it even says, like, you got to keep this on you at all times. Yeah, like, and if you don't, you're going to be executed.
Death if you let this fall into enemy hands. Or
right.
If you don't have it on you when the commissar asks, you're fucked.
Yeah, and it's perfect. So you've got this thing, and it like feels like a real thing, which like gets you excited about and everything else. Like, this is the stuff that these sorts of companies used to understand, and now they just don't.
Right.
Because now they're
to give you the feeling of, here's a piece of this universe we made that we've pulled out of it, and we can now give it to you. You know, it's something.
There's this word. It used to be really important in video games and in tabletop and in all these other things. What's that?
If you say immersion, I'm gonna chimp. I'm gonna flip this desk.
That is in fact the word I was going to say.
You can't make a liar out of me. You move the microphone.
But what else? What was the word that you wanted to use?
Well, no, I mean, I just, it's trite. It's like, it's when people say community.
Oh,
you're not wrong, but I mean, the immersion of the game, it breaks.
No, but that's because it doesn't exist anymore,
right?
It doesn't
in the
exist
true
anymore.
Sense, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying.
I mean, now, because if you look at like a typical video game now, all you're doing is watching a shitty movie.
Right.
Like, you're not even playing the game.
Half of it is a tutorial by, like, Cork Chungus. So, like, stand in the yellow box,
right.
Follow the yellow line panel, don't think too much, and enjoy the flashing lights.
And think of the way it is with tabletop games.
There
all the stupid controversies where, like, oh, I'm in a wheelchair. I need to be in a wheelchair in the game. Oh, I'm doing this and everything. It's all self-insert. It's all self-insert. Right. The whole point is that you're not you. You're not in your universe. You're in something else, and you're unaware of it. Like, there should at least be a moment in something like this.
Right.
Where it actually doesn't feel like a LARP, where it actually feels like, no, this is what's going on. Like, you're unaware of, like, you being you. You're actually somebody else.
Yeah.
Like, that is what you want in a game. That is what you want in anything.
100%. That is, you know, for guys that have played a lot of tabletop role-playing games specifically, and I'm sure it's true in video. I never felt it to the same extent, but I suppose you can, but there are definite moments where you are your character, and I don't mean like in this like theater kid flippant way, but the idea of your character isn't a self-insert. It's not a I came up with this innovative, like quirky, strange idea for my character with a very intricate backstory that will never actually apply in the game as it's played. It's like an entire mess.
Right.
You roll your character down the fucking line and you play the stats, right? And in doing so, and as shit goes on, that creates the backstory of your character. That creates a personality, everything like that. And you're not playing yourself in the game. You're playing this other thing. Like, whether you rolled good or bad, no matter what it is, if it's what you wanted to do or not, the experiment and the experience as you come through it is playing somebody in something else. Being able to have that frame of mind and theory of mind to be something else, to make decisions as if you weren't yourself. Which is
empathy, actually, by the technical definition. I mean,
that
do not commit the sin of empathy, but this is what empathy actually means. Like, be somebody else. Like, that's what the whole point of it. This is the fucking thing that's been lost.
And not just to take actions that you can't take in the real world, because I think that cheapens it. That brings it all down to like, oh, it's just like guys that can't do violence doing violence. It's like, I play games with plenty of guys that are pretty fucking good at violence. And we have a good time.
And you're actually being much less violent, even in the game.
Yeah, and a lot of the times it's that, you know, it's being able to explore the world and explore interactions in a way that you don't get into. Which, wow, isn't that abstract thought? Isn't that what IQ is?
Right.
The ability to think in abstractions.
Why empathy is an IQ test. I mean, this is not to whatever, but I mean, this is why I always say
people vindicated fucking Ravensbrück EQ test ultimately.
Well, I always say Christianity is actually an IQ test. This is why Christianity is not really a universal faith, because even something like the Golden Rule, treat others as you want to be treated, that takes a certain IQ to even understand that.
Right.
So if you don't have that level of IQ, you can't even practice that.
We've all seen the videos of like the Cape Verdeans and the various Africans being interviewed by this English guy. It's like, but how do you think the woman that you like raped and set on fire feels about it? Well, it felt good when I did it.
Yeah, right.
How do you think she feels? I don't think...
It's just a more horrifying version of the breakfast question, really.
Just crickets. In the most
But it's not just like doing things that you wouldn't do or don't have the opportunity to do, because that could still be you, right? That could still be a self-insert. It's thinking in a different way.
Right.
Operating, not even morality, because that's the wrong way to look at it, but operating in a whole different cultural context.
And you're in a different set of rules because you have different physical, mental abilities, and depending on the level of fantasy or technology or whatever in the game that you're playing, you are making decisions in a world that you aren't in as somebody else.
Right.
The constraints of your day-to-day life and reality are not imposed upon you. So like, wow, what a great way to explore concepts and ideas and existing morality and ethics that you believe today in a different setting.
Which is why they don't do it now.
Yeah, because that's a good thing to do.
You can't...
You should be testing your worldview and your morality in other environments against things that would oppose it in the same way and see if this still holds up. Like, if your belief system can withstand these tests, it's probably good. And if it can't, you got a problem. You can't... You can't USAID rehabilitate like freebooters,
right? Or Dark Eldar for that matter,
right? You can't be like, man, if only we gave if we gave enough money to the orcs, surely they would rehabilitate. They become scholar gentlemen.
Yeah, Nicholas Kristoff complaining that we're not giving enough foreign aid to like the orcs. This was the warning.
Ever since we cut off funding to the Western Segmentum, so many more orcs have died of starvation.
Elon Musk, 20 billion orcs have starved to death, and all the journalists and the Adeptus Terra are very upset.
Dogius Maximus, Tithe Reductus program, many orcs have perished on starvation. Yes, they could have walked 4 feet to the existing giant pile of food that was coming off the tree to get it to feed their kid. But why would you ask them to do that? Why wouldn't you just drop pod the food into their living room?
This was the warning, by the way. This document must not fall into enemy hands. Failure to ensure this document's safekeeping carries the penalty of death. Failure to produce this document at a superior officer's request at any time, all caps, carries the penalty of death by the owner of the Departamento Munitorum. And of course, then you've got all these other things at the beginning. Like, what are the things that include death? Disrespect toward an officer. Failure to salute an officer, you get away with just being flagged. Failure to salute the image of the emperor or imperial aquila, you'll be branded on the left cheek and then court-martialed. Various other things will get you shot and everything else. But we've all seen Master and Commander. Right. I mean, what is the whole big thing there? Like, he bumps into the guy because he's drunk and because the guy's not a good officer, and he gets flogged, and it almost brings the whole crew to mutiny in this big debate. But what does he say? What does Captain Jack Aubrey say when he's challenged by the surgeon? He says, look, the only thing that holds this little world together is discipline and hierarchy.
That's true.
And when they says I'm trying to mix with the men, I'm trying to be friendly to them, it's like they will despise you for it.
Right. And
you can't be their friend.
More so than discipline in that setting is
hierarchy.
It's enforced hierarchy.
Yes.
Right. And using discipline is analogous to that, but it's not. Discipline is more on the personal level. Mm-hmm. As you get into a large social group or a cohesive setting, it becomes enforced hierarchy more so than discipline. Because that's consequence, right? That's the existence of consequence is the result of an enforced hierarchy.
And think of what the satire is here, because obviously you're supposed to read this and be like, and again, it's fundamentally British, right?
Right.
So like somewhere in their little lizard Anglo brain, like
they're
the memory
going back to the lobster back red
right
coats and the
somewhere
hat.
in their brain is like this memory of like Norman officers like whipping these dirty Saxons and keeping them in line so they can conquer natives and stuff.
Yeah, we're watching Anthony Hopkins in Mutiny.
Right.
The remake of Mutiny on the Bounty with Mel Gibson. Like, all he wanted to do is be on this island and bang these brown ladies. And he's like, blood pressure.
How dare you, stop! But this is the satire, is you're supposed to like look down on it and be like, oh, isn't this so awful? Oh, isn't it funny? But you're thinking about it, it's like, but you were better when you acted like this. Yeah, this is a slightly exaggerated version. And then also something
the dial is cranked up a little bit, but 100% it's you guys had territories all over the world.
Yeah.
Things are working out pretty good for you.
And even the religious angle, like, how failures with the emperor. It's like, didn't you guys have a state church? I mean, technically still do, but like people believed in it then.
Well, back then it was a little bit more of a church.
Yeah. Well, back then it was actually
less.
You didn't have like some bishopess. Like
less of a political organization for criminally active lesbians.
Right. It was something that,
I think is a fair way to characterize the
pretense of being Christian.
Yeah.
But you had to believe in it, and you had this idea that like God was on your side, and I'm sure not every like random British soldier like took it very seriously and believed different things, whatever else. But it was this idea of like, no, because this is the argument for a state church. This is why people were like, oh, I won't say the Pledge of Allegiance, or like annoying, or like won't say a prayer at a fucking football game, whatever it is.
Right.
It's like you're not really praying to God. You're not making an intellectual argument about like what happens in the afterlife.
If you don't
you're
believe
showing solidarity with your fucking team.
Exactly.
If you can't do that,
you are engaging in pro-social behavior with people whose group you belong to. I don't care if you don't buy it, if you're not of whatever.
Like, shut the fuck up and say the words.
Yeah,
like, just relax.
If it's a foreign thing, 100% don't do it.
Right.
Like, don't do the cult of prayer. Don't read the fucking Yom Kippur or whatever the fucking book is. I don't give a shit. Like,
we might have a different definition of what counts as a foreign faith than many of our audience.
Yeah, but that's
for another day.
That's another episode. But
subscribers drop off a cliff.
Yeah, well,
or they just go up dramatically.
Who knows? Who could say? But
the imperial cult.
It's anytime you'll get there and you'll have like friends, relatives, yourself, others, and you're in a gathering and you can tell if you're in a predominantly Christian situation and it's a social gathering, right? And people are sitting together over a meal and they say grace. And then you can find people who get visibly uncomfortable or decide to non-participate as like a point of like personal spite against it, like. I'm so much better than this. Like, I don't give a shit. I really don't.
Yeah. And it's even within like Christian Protestant stuff. I mean, like being raised Catholic, if someone like turns to me.
Because it's all performative. Atheism is performative.
Yeah, right.
I'm not like you guys. An adamant display of non-belief.
Right. I'm not like you guys. I'm different. I'm whatever else.
I understand the world.
And you can't fucking have that in the military. I mean, one of the big signs of national decline is, especially in the Anglosphere, when you look at these fucking Indians or whoever else in Canada and Britain, I think even in America, where it's like, no, we get special rules.
Right.
We get to keep our beards. We get to have a stupid hat. We get to do this and everything else.
Turbans. You get everything else. And God, I rewatched. Was it 1917? The other night. And as a film, I would say it's pretty well done. As subject matter and the context of it, there's some issues there to be sure, but. As a piece of cinema in how they ran it with only like 2 or 3 cuts in the entire 2-hour movie. It's a very impressive piece of cinema. But of course they do the whole bit where he ends up in the back of the truck and there's this disparate group of like a bunch of these uneducated, like poor speaking English guys, and then the one Sikh in there that like struggles with the English language, but he's very wise.
Right. He has the wisdom of the Orient. He's come to enlighten you all.
He has a thoughtful things to say.
Right.
He's not just like being brash about it. He's like, I hope you find your comrade, buddy.
Yeah.
Hey, Bhakti, hello.
Then he steals his wallet. Sells his weapons to the Germans.
At a competitive price. It's all about the haggle. But and he's got the olive drab turban, like all wrapped up in shit.
I mean, that was probably the uniform then, to be fair. But like,
yeah, but they were in separate companies.
Right, they were in separate units, and they were also like the Indian Army.
You didn't have a busload of like Welshmen.
This is the thing, is that you can have. I mean, think of the Imperial Guard. Think of all the different regiments. Think of all the different beliefs.
I think about the Imperial Guard quite often.
Yeah, right. And think of all the different versions of the Imperial cult. Because this is not like the handbook that goes to like one type of unit. I mean, at least it doesn't say so. And I don't want to like overthink this, but
no, but it's broadly across.
Broadly speaking, it's everybody.
Because all the regiments are very disparate.
Right.
It's almost like there's a universe that has actual diversity.
Yeah, can you imagine like diversity meaning like different cultures
everything
believe
into the same thing? Like you got
wait. Are you suggesting that groups of people who have different cultures and believe different things can still work together without being turned into some gray goop and all mixed together where they're not even human anymore? Wow. I've never heard this. I mean,
my bolt pistol is getting a bit early.
I feel like I should do a whole show about this concept as well. Right. But this is one of the things that they bring up. This is one of the things that they bring up because these are the rules that apply to everyone.
Yeah.
These are the rules because presumably they do have different uniforms, they do have different practices, and they understand the God Emperor in different ways. I mean, this is one thing we know. It's brought up in the Inquisition books over and over again. They'll go to a planet, the Inquisitor will, and somebody will make some comment and he'll kind of look over at his head and they'll be like, oh, here they think like the Emperor is the sun. And he kind of thinks about it for a second. He's like, yeah, that fits with the Imperial cult, whatever.
That's
like
fine.
They're very pragmatic about this kind of shit. And so when you think of the rules, even in this, it's like, yeah, when you pass an altar, you should make the sign of respect and move on. It's like, that's not that unreasonable.
Yeah.
Like, why would you not do
really
that?
Not.
If you're in the military and they raise the flag and you don't salute, like, well, it's my choice. Well, I guess there's nothing. No, you should actually be flogged. Like,
NJP.
Yeah.
Flogging.
Yeah. Like, it's not the kind of thing, and it's like, well, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, but this isn't some email job.
Yeah.
Like, this is a real thing.
You're in a real environment with real consequences.
Right. And we're also in a world here, in a universe here, where the stakes are existential. And that these things actually matter. I mean, there's actually one of the great things about it is they have so many of the 40K lines of the day kind of at the bottom of the book.
Right.
And one of my favorite ones that I've found in this is there can be no bystanders in the battle for survival. Anyone who will not fight by your side is an enemy you must crush.
Like,
that's my politics.
That's a banger.
Yeah, I mean, like, that is correct.
No lies
detected.
That is
objectively the correct way to view things.
Zero faults in that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's also an element of hierarchy even within some of the other social practices. So, for example...
Was that, isn't that Carl Schmitt?
What?
Is that the guy?
Well, the friend-enemy distinction and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's just that. That's like boiled down.
Well, that's what politics is.
Like boilerplate. It is. And they're like, we'll use this as satire. I'm like, wow, what... In a world where your group is at threat on all sides from everyone that wants to see them extinct, this is the only way to think. You're like, thank you for accidentally bumbling into an eternal truth. That's the only way to solve this fucking problem.
I mean, the real red pill is not that, like, this is what it's like in the 41st millennium. The real red pill is, this is what it's like now!
Yeah.
And always has been. Like, you're in it. You're in the war. There is only war. You're in it right now.
100%.
Like, and maybe you don't get like a las gun or something, but like that doesn't mean it's not real. That doesn't mean there's not existential conflict. That doesn't mean that there's not enemies that only exist to be destroyed.
What you do get is the Keltec. Was it the PS50?
Yeah.
The stuff.
One of the other things, I mean, just as an aside, but I think this is pretty important because one of the things you always hear about the old lore is like, well, if you were exposed to whatever, even the knowledge of chaos and all this kind of stuff, you get killed immediately.
Right.
But we get that, and this
not
is from
the case.
This is from the Damocles Gulf Crusade.
Right.
So this handbook specifically, which means it's a while back in the past, I guess. From like where the timeline currently is, so well back. Dark forces and warp magic, and this is being given to everybody.
Yeah,
this is like privates.
To your common guard.
Yeah, this is not going to... Because there is stuff in here about, like, warp transit and stuff. Like, this is the shit that can go wrong. Where they're sort of telling majors, like...
Your prayer for protection as you travel through the
warp. More than
like
that. More than that. But they have a section in here which is just for major... I think it's actually even upside down, so you have to do that. But it's for, like, majors and up. And it's like, look, guys, there's a lot of shit that can go wrong during warp transit. The men are going to be spreading rumors. The rumors are true, but you need to deny them anyway because if people knew how crazy this is, everyone would lose their mind. Yeah. That's very understandable. But they do say this, and this goes to everyone. Dark forces and warp magic. Quote, any soldier who, through his own will or no, become touched by the warp in any way and becomes impure and a danger to security will be the beneficiary of the Emperor's mercy. That's very reasonable.
Pretty straightforward.
And also, that's correct. Like, if you're possessed by the warp, and the fact that these people know that people can be possessed by the warp, and it doesn't really, it's not really up to you. It doesn't make you, like, a bad person. It can just happen.
Yeah, you're outside. Right.
That's what happens.
Yeah,
I don't know what to tell you.
You got the germ, homie.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually very similar to that. Like, this guy's got a germ that could infect the whole thing. You got to, let's bring him with us. Like, no.
You have AIDS. There's no, like... Oh man, it's so horrible that the Imperium doesn't let me donate psychic blood after I was touched by the warp. Like, what bigots? It's like, no, you can't. You have soul AIDS. And you have to go.
Soul AIDS. That's the new way I'm going to think about being.
You have soul AIDS. You have
a lot of people these days have soul AIDS.
Big time. Touched by the warp. And by warp, I mean their youth counselor. And they dye their hair, and they change their name, and they wear clothes that don't really fit them. They gain a bunch of weight, and they give a fake name.
You're just jealous because they had that nice, smooth cut, and now they are who they truly are. Yeah. You just don't understand what it's like to be your true, authentic self.
They got their rig blown smooth off.
Where's that scar on your arm? Where did that come from?
That's a weird, like, I'm used to, like, the 3-band tattoo, like, and, like, the trees and the dumb bullshit millennial thing, and it's like, oh, no, you got the...
No, you don't understand. That's Achilles now. She's actually a better warrior than you.
You got the ripping stick, yeah. You got the fruit roll-up taken off your forearm and wrapped around your imaginary hog.
That's in, like, today's, like, American infantry hand. But, well, maybe not under the current administration, but if they get back in, they're going to bring it right back.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's how it was under the Ancien regime.
Government-funded, state-mandated phalloplasty surgeries.
I mean, under the current regime, we've got government-funded TRT. Have you seen
based.
the whole thing about they're like, oh, this is gender-affirming care, and so therefore it's the same thing. It's like, see if you can tell the difference between like castrating yourself and giving you something that'll make you stronger when you're in your profession. Well, that's pretty fucking important.
This is step one to like our genetic super soldier program.
It is actually.
I generally want this approved at the highest level.
Yeah.
Like, and not for everyone. You know, like all the guys should probably get a little bit of test. Their levels should be super physiological most of the time. You know, we're talking like 1,100 to 1,400 milligrams.
I just refuse to take any
tests.
I'm just
testosterone. You know, like 800 to say is the top end of normal. Like maybe up to 1,000 for like some genetic specimens. I want basically every infantryman, anyone doing anything, to be like 11 to 14. That's a nice range to get these guys at. But then you want the super mutants.
Since we're early in the timeline, it doesn't matter if they die early.
It doesn't matter.
This is for the greater good. There'll be an Ararat for them someday.
Yeah, they're not going to get the blood pressure pills. They will explode like a giant human zit full of blood in time.
Awesome.
But like, man, what a way
That's
to
how
go.
you get the peace deal with Iran. You're
like,
sending these exploding.
I got so
like,
bricked up
guys.
from shooting so many of my racial enemies that I blew up like an overfed tick.
They're marching through the streets of Tehran, exploding in blood.
Yeah,
that's how you bring the Ayatollah to
truly,
the
I want the
negotiating
grotesque
table.
super soldiers just on every pharmaceutical, like human test tubes with machine guns, is what I want, and that's what the Imperium has to offer.
It's common sense,
It's
really.
common sense. They're the good guys.
We
could be the good guys too.
It's
write
all
your
there.
congressman.
It's all there.
Right.
This is what frustrates me. Like
to make state mandated genetic pharmaceutical therapy for every service.
It's common sense, and if you think and it's also inevitable, by the way.
It is.
I mean, this is the funny thing is that you look at this stuff, and we'll get into like the Lorgar meme, right? That you always see, like this is a war of belief. Right. I mean, we'll get into that in a second, but let's just
into it. Yeah, let's try to get past the first 6 pages of the book.
There's no reason
we're
to.
horrible.
No, this is perfect.
The ending is great too.
Yeah,
I do like the.
Well,
last
we
bit.
got to get into the town,
but yeah.
But I mean, let's just talk real quick about the genetic element because it even talks about Ogrins and various
This is
other
something
things.
that I think is actually a very good point. And it plays into the satirical element of it in a big way, but also the idea of information is controlled and given as needed.
Right.
So you have,
which is how it is everywhere.
Right. You have this section on first aid, and it's like, here's what the human body is. Inside it, there are hard things called bones.
Right.
It's that level, like
206 of them.
Right. It's basically back to like the great humors and like the inside in this container for this organ and this container for this fluid and everything and the description of the human body. But they describe it as this perfect form. I hate doing the read off my phone thing.
But here's the key though. Notice this is section 2, the composition of the sacred human form.
Right.
And this is important.
This is very important.
Because it's not just here's information. But this is the thing that like you have been denied, which we have all been denied, and it's presented as satire. But when you really think about it, it's like, why aren't we taught this kind of thing? Where it's like you are actually not just good the way you are, perfect the way you are, but like sacred. Like the human form is itself
like
holy.
Your body.
This does not mean that like
is an existent miracle. This is not like pride in the sense of like a rampant
because
homosexual child molestation.
the whole point is that we're teaching you how to fix it when something bad happens.
Right.
So like it's not like you're invincible.
It's the idea of your correct form is correct and should be maintained as
the
such.
composition of the sacred human form. The human body is a paradigm of perfection and purity. Its makeup is an example to all lesser creatures and races. And be assured, all other creatures are less than human. That our place as dominators of the galaxy is right and just. It is therefore correct and of the highest calling that you should use your body as a weapon with which to fight those lesser creatures deemed a threat to our undeniable superiority. But weapons get damaged. Repairs need to be made. Much as a wounded tank's machine spirit needs the correct ministrations of an engine seer, the human body needs attention when damaged or made unbalanced.
Right. And
I find nothing to disagree with.
Absolutely nothing is wrong.
Right. Nothing is wrong with any of that.
Zero fault cannot be rebuffed.
We have 206 bones in our frame. There are 206 stanzas in the Catechism of the Sacred Form. That's as it should be.
Surely this is for a reason.
I mean, think of
surely we can make one before the other.
This is one of the keys. Is that this is the the twist on religion, because it's a satire of Catholicism and everything else, like old school medieval Catholicism, as interpreted by the extremely unsympathetic Protestant
as
in their
interpreted
bones
through
English.
the competitively political lesbian Anglican church.
Yes, well, even before that, like the ones who were burning down the monasteries under Henry VIII. I mean, this was core to the Anglo project at the time. So it's a very unsympathetic reading of old school Catholicism. But see if you can tell the difference here. What does, and I'm not trying to like shit on the Christians here, but I mean this is pretty fundamental. When you think of what is the treatment of organized religion, Catholicism toward the human body. Yes, the body is the temple and everything else. There's some stuff there. It's not completely negative. So I'm trying to be fair here. But generally,
here we go.
It's filth. It's rags. You're this base creature. It is to be despised. You know, it's nothing that you should be proud of. You only get a glorified body in heaven. I mean, that's like the big Protestant idea and everything else.
Yeah.
Contrast that to this, where it's like this human form is sacred. It's a weapon. It's something you use.
I didn't grow up in Catholicism, so I can't try to go to bat for him on this. But like, I just don't care for that. Well, I mean, right or wrong. I just don't care for it. You know,
I mean, I think the idea that like bringing people up.
I think this is such a major thing for like the rampant social ills that we have, just in the well-being of the individual, let alone the community. Is this idea that the mind, body, and the spirit are somehow separate.
Right.
These are distinct things
bullshit.
that aren't tied together.
Total bullshit.
That all of these things weren't together as one as the moment that you were conceived.
Yep.
And that you were born. Your destiny was written. Your fate is fucking sealed. Who you are going to be as a person is 99% there all the fucking way. And that you can neglect
this alienation from creation is at the
root
idea
of so many
of our problems.
I will neglect my anything that gives me spiritual satisfaction. I will neglect anything that is good for my body, and I will engage purely in like internet mental masturbation the entire time, and be like, why do I feel bad? Why is that not good? And the same thing for people that go all the one way without the other. You know, you see it all the time. People who become physical specimens, who worry about their physical form, but they become like mentally and spiritually corrupt.
Well, there's a difference between
they get absolutely lost in it, and it's like they are humors. The idea of there being like 3 humors in your body that need to be
four humors, right? 4 of them, yeah.
But just in this, that need to be balanced and in sync with one another towards a positive outcome is like you don't need any science, anything in the fucking world to tell you this. You understand it when you are acting in harmony. Mind, body, and spirit, you feel fucking good. You feel unstoppable, honestly.
Yes.
That's when you're at your highest.
You feel like a weapon.
You're peaked. You
should feel like a weapon. And what is the point of a weapon? It's to be tested.
It's to be tested and to strike down your fucking enemies. You're a weapon for your cause. You're a weapon for your beliefs. You're out there enforcing your will upon the world and making things happen that you want to happen. Like,
this is the whole key. It's like, here's this
thing. Get your shit in line. Get all the edges of the blade of yourself folded in one straight line and fucking cut through it.
No, that's evil because of reasons.
Yeah, you can't do that.
You can't do that. Why? Why can't I do that? Well, the God I don't believe
working out is fascist. You should just play video games and watch porn.
Yeah, that's what we're told.
Folks.
Right.
You're not allowed to do that. You just got to tug it.
Here's the whole point of this, where they say, "Oh, it's satire. It's so evil. Let's make fun of these guys and everything else." And like, what is it actually telling you?
These are really
that
good.
you're. Yeah,
I don't drink enough of them.
I told you that. I mean, this is how it starts. 5. I think I've had 5 today.
I need the.
You need to master your base desires and not be dependent anyway. Number 5.
Yeah, do we got like some airplane bottles in here? Because I got a drinking problem.
But the idea that you are on the right side, not because of, I created some abstract ideological bullshit, but because of who you are.
Right.
And it's inherent to who you are. That your form is holy, like your existence is somehow holy, that you're not some base, disgusting creature and your life is meaningless, but actually like the universe revolves around you. But
that
you got to earn your way in.
Right. Victory is your birthright.
Right,
and
it's
not
going
to be handed to you. You have to take it.
You have to
if
fight
you fail
for
to
it.
reach out and take it, you are ultimately at fault. And that's a spiritual crime, not just a physical one or a political one.
Right, and if things go south, as they say in this, you got to impose the greatest cost you can at the enemy and earn your place at the right hand of the golden throne.
Right.
Like, what exactly am I supposed to be? And then, there's discipline. Like, if you don't do this, like, you get flogged or shot.
Right.
Like, you mean like it was in every army until 100 years ago? Like,
yeah.
Like, what exactly is the problem here? And incidentally, this is way more, I don't want to even say merciful, but let's say rational than, say, like, the Red Army where where you have something where it's like, oh, you were defeated in battle, so we're just gonna like execute you or something, or you won the battle, but you saw too much, so we're gonna put you in like a POW camp because you'll realize that Germany is like more advanced or something.
Yeah, you fled, you're gonna die, and your family's going to Siberia.
Right, but like the same people who are like Red Army. What would be the term? Not weeaboos, gotta be for the Japs, but what would be the equivalent for Red Army types?
Oh God, I don't know.
Soviet boos or commie boos, whatever. Tankies, I guess.
They're all just fucking
in a way.
Just the Soviet Union fetishes, and like
but there's no.
They had in an aesthetic sense. I wouldn't say it was my sense, but they had a uniform series of
there's a certain
propaganda
appeal.
It had an appeal to certain people, but they had a unified form of design and propaganda that felt very cohesive. Ours is very disjointed, and that's why it's so jarring for people. I think that's why we have so many schizophrenics. Our propaganda isn't even cohesive in form.
No, I kind of like the schizo hype edits about Hyperborea and everything else. That's the greatest art form of our time. And I will say that,
truly, short form edits are the greatest.
Oh yeah,
art form of our
I mean
time.
that's if you're going to special kids, if there's one thing you need to specialize in, it's that. And I'll say this about the Reds, as actually in the one book,
fuck college, fuck going into the trades. Hyper edits.
Yeah, they're going to replace the white collar jobs with AI, and they're going to replace the blue collar jobs with foreigners. So
Think about
what hype edits.
You, dear viewer, what do you like? Do you like those? Do you like having them? Make them. Other people will like those. They might pay you to do them.
Yeah.
Or not. Or you
There
can
was
be
a time
elite that's really, really good at it.
And then someday you can afford a burrito. Don't listen to these conservatives that tell you that, like, you are good enough for a burrito. We believe in you. I'll say this about the Red Army, though, too. And I think this is part of the appeal, because think of the commissars, right?
Man, take this clip out of context.
The commissars...
I'll say this about the Red Army.
The commissars, obviously, are based more on the Red Army than anybody else. Right. And there is kind of an appeal to that, even to right-wingers. And I'm reminded of what Ayn Rand said in We the Living, which is actually her best book. Because remember, she grew up during the Russian Revolution and everything else.
I don't read Jewish books.
Yeah, right. Well, you don't read books, period, which is actually the correct thing to do.
But I read Dad Advent.
She has this.
Dan's all right.
She has this line where she's speaking to this communist, and she says, "I despise your ends, but I admire your means." And I was just like, "Yeah, that's that's kind of how the vibe
is. I mean, that's almost the desire too, to have an enemy that's worthwhile.
That's the biggest frustration.
Right?
Because, like, you can imagine...
It's not like a sniveling, low-down, whatever. It's like, I hate what you want.
This is part of 40K. This is part of 40K because you're playing as the Guard.
Right.
Who are you fighting? You're fighting terrifying monsters. You're fighting the forces of pure evil sent from hell. You're fighting
demons from hell.
Technologically advanced Japs or with fish vagina heads and whatever else. But you're dealing with people who want to kill you or creatures that want to kill you, and you're giving it to them in turn. And there's an honesty in that. There's a purity in that.
Yeah.
You can imagine some American conservative in like 1962 watching a Soviet military parade, being like, "These guys are scary as shit. We got to be ready. We got to be strong to fight them."
Right.
But then you see
the
like
opposition is something to be taken seriously
and respected in a way.
Right.
You know, like you want to kill them.
Right, but the idea
but
of
they're worthy adversary,
which is like the most honorable thing you can have, is like a worthy opponent. That honestly, to have a nemesis, truly.
Why do you think boomers always brag about fighting the Nazis?
Yeah.
Say what you will. Say what you will about the tenets of National Socialism. It was a worthy enemy. Right? I mean, nobody would brag about the idea of going in and gunning down like college students at Kent State, even though in the grand scheme of things, that was actually the greater enemy.
Yeah, objectively.
Like the people you actually needed to gun down were like the people marching.
Were the boomers going to college?
Well, it was the people in like May 1968 in Paris. Like that was actually
them
that was the death stroke to the West, not like the Soviet army, not like East Germany. That's nothing. It's the moral
and you
it's
know
the moral
sad truth,
battleground.
but the National Guardsmen in, what was it, Little Rock?
What's that? When they integrated the schools?
Yeah, the one where they got everyone on the bayonet point, like you have to go to orc school now. I'm sorry, but like, I'm sorry, but Malik Dagtooth Wah Johnson has every right to have access to your daughter.
It's the Imperium. The Imperium has fallen. The Guard is forcing our kids to go to orc school.
Go to fucking orc school. I don't want to go to orc school.
I mean,
I went to orc school. I don't want my kids to go to orc school.
I just see the entire model that is laid out in the uplifting primer as objectively superior, because there are a couple things here. I mean, let's think of, not to get into current events, but I mean, you kind of have to think about what's going on with this conflict with Iran, and you have this idea that like, we can't.
What is going on in Iran, Kevin?
Well, apparently we're just kind of jerking off and nothing's happening. But like,
nice.
This idea that we're going to bomb these people and then they're going to negotiate because they're rational, right? And they won't do it because, and President Trump is like, oh, these guys are crazy and everything else. And it's like, yeah, the difference, and you can call it irrational, you can call it fanatical, you can call it whatever else. But the problem is, if you're fighting people who believe in something, and they believe in something so absolutely, that gives you a crazy amount of power.
If they have any social capital whatsoever to use.
So, like,
you're not going to get that.
If you're saying, so you're offering them things like, we will impose these costs. If you sign this deal, you will get these benefits. But if the response that they keep coming back with is, God is on our side. We are right on our side. We are absolutely. It's the same thing that happened in fucking Vietnam. It's the same thing that happens in all these conflicts where if you're just kind of doing it halfway.
Especially where it's like, you're not going to run these people out and be like, oh, surely they'll give up and then work with us. If we kill enough of their kids, they'll be on our team.
It's like the high-low memes. It's like the high-low memes where it's the guy in the middle is like, well, you know, if we have a moderate approach and we do these things and we just scale up the amount of force for the kind of deal that we want and everything else. And then you have like the chuds on the left, like kill them all. And then the ones on the right are like, the more we kill, the sooner this will be over. Like that actually makes sense. And here's the thing with the Imperium is that, I mean, granted, it's a different situation because you're fighting like aliens and everything else, but every war,
and your government and entire organizational forces
isn't trying to destroy you,
exterminating your enemies instead of trying to bargain with them after doing half measure after half measure for 4 generations.
Right. I mean, if you had taken, I mean, let's look at Vietnam. It's like you either, if you're not willing to go all the way, and show my teeth a little bit with the Iran situation. If you're not willing to do what it takes, you don't do it at all. You just don't do it. And that's simplistic and you don't understand and everything else. It's like, I've got a master's in international relations. And like, it's also the thing that I learned from that fucking grad school is that the people who are running the show are not that smart.
Yeah.
And they mostly go from failure to failure.
You're expending not just social capital and political capital, but human capital. Like your own people. You're spending them very cheaply. But you're not willing to actually get what you're paying for.
Right. Give me a normal...
It's putting money in a slot machine and hoping you come up winning without committing to just buying enough shit to get what you want.
Give me a normal vet bro from Alabama who was in the Guard, was in the National Guard 15 years ago. That guy is going to run American foreign policy better than all the experts from Harvard and Yale and everything else. Right. And I say this as somebody who has, and again, I don't have that high an opinion of myself, but I've gone to their stupid fucking institutions, and I've won awards at their stupid fucking institutions, and I'm smarter than these people.
Yeah, and they will do it because it's like, wow, I've actually come face to face with these fucking...
They're idiots!
It's like,
they're idiots!
I know these absolute idiots.
This satire makes more sense as a guide to, like, international relations than, like, anything that's come out of Yale in 50 years. Yeah. And the same thing...
They eat dirt and fuck dogs. You can't reason with them.
Right, and it's like...
End.
I mean, certainly with Iran, obviously, not to get into whatever politics, but obviously it shouldn't start at all. But of course, that has nothing to do with America, and we all know that. But if you were doing any other kind of a conflict, I mean, think of any of the wars that this country has been involved with for a long time. Unless it's something where you're dealing with a group that you can do like a cost-benefit analysis with, because it's basically a business transaction, then it really does have to be all or nothing.
Which you can say, I mean, what do we have? Spanish-American War? That was about that, you know, where it was.
I mean, that was a real fucking war.
It was a real war, but it was very openly two imperial powers saying, "I want this colony from you. You don't want them to give it to me. We will kill the colonials and some of your local troops stationed there until we get the shit."
Right.
The end. They're like, "Okay, you beat us fair and square, and you killed our peasant army, and then we're fine now." Mm-hmm. And like that was the end of it. You know, that was really like a holdover of like honest warfare.
The simplistic way that war is treated in this, and we should get into the Tau in a bit too.
Right, this is important.
The simplistic way that it's treated, where it's like the enemy is scum, and you should hate them, and they need to be wiped out, and you actually have your God on your side, and you are holy and everything else.
Weak, slow-witted.
They're saying this. You're supposed to look at this and say to yourself, "Isn't this stupid?" But every country that's ever done anything, including this one. This is the way we operated when we were doing good shit.
Every piece
this
of
is actually the correct way to handle things.
Yep.
And you could say like, well, it's exaggerated. Yeah, because there's no, well, there are orcs. Our kids go to school with them. Yes, it's exaggerated slightly because you've got sci-fi elements and aliens and everything else. But the fundamental worldview that, yeah, if you're going to war, you better be 100% that God is on your side, that everything is right and righteous in terms of what you are doing, that and it actually says this, the end always justifies the means.
That
That's one of the little statements.
Your foes deserve to be vanquished.
Right.
It's your job to do that, and it's important that you do it to the fullest extent.
That is correct. That is moral. And and here's the thing: if somebody who's coming up to you and being like,
anything
"Well, that's
else is
immoral,"
it's spending lives and spending blood for no fucking
right?
reason.
And if anyone's telling you like, "Oh, it's immoral to think this way. You shouldn't think this way," it's because they want you to lose. You don't have to overthink this.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, every single person who says things like, "Well, you can't use those kinds of ends." You can't use those kinds of means, regardless of how righteous the ends are. They would absolutely favor those means against you
they would
because
do it
they
to
hate
you.
you.
Yeah.
Everybody favors unlimited means when it comes to the ends they really believe in.
Yeah.
I mean, to get into one of the things here, and there's a lot of really fun stuff in terms of the different warriors and the weapons and what they talk about with the different races. I mean, I'll just give you one example.
I like the gene stealers are very slow and clumsy.
Oh, I like the guidance they give you for the Tyranids, which is shoot the big ones.
Yeah.
Shoot the big ones. That's what they tell you. And I like this about the Eldar. The Eldar are an old race, dying, decaying, and ripe for the slaughter. Their hiding places and planet ships will not hide them forever. Their time is past. They run from the might of the Imperium, for in it they see their ultimate doom.
Yeah, not wrong.
Nice.
So they're clumsy, they're slow. It's like slow-footed. It's like, Jesus Christ, dude.
But consider this, though. Consider this. This is one of these things where they say, okay.
Oh, shit.
What?
That probably would have worked as a mic stand instead of like having to like cuck table this all the time.
Next time.
I'm not trying to like stay on my knees here, people. I'm just we got a weird setup today. Like we're making it work. We're doing our best. I think we're doing a pretty good job.
When he says, talking about the aliens, he says, "Be assured, men of the Imperium, that the alien is not worthy of your mercy." Fair enough. And of course, listen not to the alien, look not upon the alien, speak not unto the alien. Also correct.
Right.
But this is one of these things where they say, again, oh, if you know about the nature of the enemy, if you know about chaos, the arch enemy that is, you're going to be killed. They keep these people ignorant. There's a whole section called Of Corruption and Dark Forces. Yeah. And it's a black peril stalks our realms. Its nature is virtually unknown, but it manifests itself in many ways which cause great bloodshed and tormented wailing of those left in its daily wake. This dark malign influence saturates the land wherever it falls, and many weak-minded fools respond, actually casting aside the very right and pure imperial creed in favor of the damned and sordid worship of the Dark Ones. These once people are heretics. It's pretty straightforward. I mean, like, if you're some, and keep in mind, like, who these people are.
Right.
I mean, this is going to everyone in the Guard,
right.
Which means you probably have people coming from like feral world. Like,
I know, the idea is
if they can even read this, it'd be amazing.
These regiments, and so I was thinking about this on the way over after I got off my knees for my long morning, just putting it in.
Gotta do what you gotta
do. But there is, if you think about this book and its role and what it's showing about the universe and the setting and the ideology of the setting, and you take this against a lot of the very good books and works about the Guard and about the setting specifically. Like the greatest series with the Guard, of course, is Gaunt's Ghosts, like without a doubt. And there's little mention of the uplifting primer in there, but it's there.
Yeah.
In the later books, it's there, and there's some design considerations in there too. So you have to understand this book, the assumption of it canonically in the lore and supported by all the other books that they wrote, is the idea that there will be very capable units and there will be capable forces, and there will be people that understand organizational efficiency and understand organized violence in a way that's very effective, and they know about being a part of the Imperium. This is like the baseline. You pull this like bum crack nigger retard out from under a fucking bridge and give him a las gun, and here's the book.
Yeah.
It is so baseline of explain the world, explain the universe, and it does work in the setting, and it reads off as very satirical, but the idea is that if you have no competent commanders or no one willing to give you this information, no form of organization, no form of greater strategy, which you as the individual aren't supposed to have anyways in something of this scale, is that you get this. And you come across that when especially in the Ghost series, you have a very capable regiment that was battle tested early on that did quite well. Where they had capable commanders that understood the Guard, they understood the way the world worked, and the universe worked, and how these conflicts work, and the enemies that they faced. They were directed in a very positive way. But it doesn't say that everything's like that, that all regiments are like that everything works in a very similar fashion, because it will showcase new recruits from some area that have no idea what the fuck they're doing. Like, oh, I thought this was going to be fine.
Yeah, right.
You know, I thought these guys were going to be a pushover, you know? And it's the whole thing, and then they come face to face with it and have their moment of doubt, and it's the duty of the commissar and the other regiments that are in there to bolster them up and stiffen them up and push them through the shit. And so it's introductory, not as like, this is not your average guardsman's view of the world or what he's told. This is the like bare bones minimum, like, you just got pulled off your agricultural world and thrown into a fucking spaceship, and you didn't even know what space was.
Yeah, right.
Until fucking
you didn't know there were even any other planets. You thought like the Emperor was like a star or something.
Yeah. And like now you're on this intergalactic bus,
right,
with a bunch of other people that did nothing but like hoe radishes, like space turnips out of the fucking muck. Your fucking ancestors for the last 4,000 years. And they're like, anyways, this is a lasgun. What's it do? What's it do? It kills things that don't look like you. Use it.
Right.
What doesn't look like me? All these things, they suck. Shoot them. The end.
God commands it.
Yeah. And it's like, wow, what would you want? Do you want to explain more than that? You know, and
yeah, what else are you going to be able
and this
to
is where the idea is that, oh, it's satire falls away if you explain this, or if you think about it realistically for like 5 minutes. If you give it any actual thought outside of like the tongue-in-cheek, oh, this is entertaining, oh, it's kind of, you know, there's a bit of whimsy in there. It's kind of silly the way that the tags, how they misrepresent everything deliberately. And it's like, yeah, you can say it's to bolster confidence, whatever, and part of it's just entertaining. But then you get to the end, and this is the only part where I think the satirical attempt or input from the author kind of detracts from the entire thing as its ability to be what it's supposed to be. Right. Mm-hmm. The idea to me is the idea of the Imperial Uplifting Primer is most of the book would be like the last 10 or 12 pages in red. Yeah. That's it. That would be like 90% of the book. And then you'd have like 4 pages about the enemies of the Imperium. Right. Everything would be the catechisms, the prayers, the call to actions, the daily devotions, the
inspiring speeches.
The thing to inspire, to bolster you up, like as you're in warp transit, as you're getting ready for battle, if your commanding officers to read to you, that would be 90% of the book. And then the more dry, more technical, more like world-building, tongue-in-cheek stuff would be like the tiny bit at the end. Yeah. I think how it actually would work. Yeah. If you were to do this and issue this to people. And it was a choice, I think, in writing it, of satirize it a little bit and then like put way more effort into that than you do at the end. Because I know they can write this stuff. Yeah. I know that the authors they have on here can write inspiring speeches, inspiring stories. They can write catechisms that work instead of like, here's the prayer for this. And it's like, oh, Emperor, please make my lasgun work good today.
Yeah, I did think the prayers fell a little flat sometimes.
And that's where you get the idea that like they thought the assignment was like to make it too much of a joke. Yeah. And the whole thing conceptually,
you're not putting yourself in the place of these people who really believe it. And also people who believe in this stuff, even no atheists and foxholes, right? Right. Like you take somebody who's a very unbelieving Christian and you have machine gun bullets, he's going to believe real fast.
And they could have read this whole thing like, oh, in chow hall, like sitting there after you finish your shit.
Yeah, right.
Eyes forward, not looking down at your food, just yelling the things from memorization out of the fucking book. And be like, oh, this is so dumb. And then you're there getting fucking blasted. And you're like,
going to fall back on that shit.
And then like, that's what's running through your fucking head is that, you know?
Although I will say the one prayer where it was, O Emperor Guard, I'll have to find it, but let's get into the Tau too. Yeah, but it was.
Oh, that one's funny. That's a nice update.
The Tau is such a good one. Emperor, this is it. Prayer in the time of tumults. Emperor of man, overseer of all things right, whose powers none can resist. That was from that film that somebody made. You know, where you have the guardsman who falls into the hole after he's attacked by Tyranids, and that's what he says when he pulls out his knife and he knows he's boned. And then as he's saying that prayer...
Was that a Dark Angel shows up, right?
Yeah. Or at least somebody from the first, you know, one of the Unforgiven shows up. I don't think it's actually a Dark Angel, but it's one of the Unforgiven who shows up and completes the prayer, basically. Yeah. And then they fight together. Presumably win, because it's a Space Marine versus these other creatures. But he talks about, speaking of creatures, it talks about the Tau. And the Tau are relatively new. And what they are told is that the Imperium is this vast and unconquerable fortress, but around the walls breaks a creeping tile of Xenos filth. And then they talk about who the Tau are. Regrettably, Imperial citizens on the Damocles Gulf have been in contact with these gray-skinned weaklings for a long time. Humanity's first representatives to have illicit dealings with the Tau were pirates, rogue traders, exiles, dissidents, and cartels of low and morally repugnant merchants. Always the traders.
Merchants. Well, is your mic echoing?
I heard
in
an
here?
echo.
Is there an
Sorry,
echo in here?
there might be an echo around here when I said
Merchants.
What manner of heretical discussions and transactions took place is unknown. If negotiations or diplomatic relations are opened, if we trade, barter, or tolerate the alien, we demonstrate a weakness which, be assured, that we'll take advantage of. Why cooperate when we can dominate? Now, there's that you're it's so evil. Why don't they form an alliance? It's like, look, first of all, yes, I understand it's a war game, so by definition, why can't these factions cooperate? Because then we wouldn't be able to play the game.
Why can't we all work together?
Yeah, right.
Then my guys can't kill your guys.
Yeah, right. So,
dice.
like, one,
fuck you.
all what serious analysis aside, like, it is a war game, so obviously that can't happen. The plot requires it. But even if we were trying to get into it, the Tau are not there to coexist with the Imperium.
Right.
The Tau are there to subvert the Imperium and take everything over. And it is a fucking caste system. Like, they are run by the Ethereals. Right. And, yeah, you could point with this. I mean, even in here, they're making fun of them, obviously. Their Tau society is based on a primitive caste system. Individuals are born into a caste that they never leave. They are told what to do from birth. Do not waste pity on them. Feel contempt and hatred for a race so spineless that they gladly accept their self-appointed bondage without a whimper. Now, here's the thing. We are told in all the literature, in all the commentary, and all the satire about the Imperium, oh, it's so hierarchical. Oh, it's so repressive. Nobody gets to move up. Look at these nobles. Isn't it terrible? Well, at least they don't have a fucking caste system. Right. And in fact, they're making fun of these people for having
at least they're not. It's like, yes, you were born in a hive. You're going to be a toil bond. That's all you're going to do your whole life.
But, like, it's at least theoretically possible to do something.
But at least, like, you can get a little bit better with some shit.
Yeah.
And you're not controlled by, like, pheromones and, like, weird smell boxes. Your fucking spell. Well, that's like the canon shit. Is like, how do the ethereals work? It's not psychic. It's like bug pheromones.
Yeah,
it's just bug shit.
This is they also talk about the Tau mercenaries. I thought this was pretty funny. They're talking about the Kroot. It says, warning: after killing an enemy, a Kroot will consume him. If you allow yourself to be killed and ingested, your soul is forfeited. That could be pretty good.
Very true. Well, that is something in like and that's just a bit of understanding, a nice bit of tongue in cheek there. Where what is it? I believe what's the Kroot is that if they kind of similar to the old lore on the Space Marines, how they could like eat someone's brain and understand their tactics.
Yeah,
right. The Kroot is very much like they would eat you and then learn shit from eating you and like learn some of your fighting techniques and like have sort of like while they're alive mutations or adaptations to that combat style.
Right.
It's like
makes sense.
I like that. If you allow yourself to be eaten, your soul is forfeit.
Well, I like the idea that, this just naturally appeals to me if one were designing a faith, so to speak. The idea that there are certain, just like there are certain rituals or certain things you could do, certain heroic acts, one might say, or you could get to an afterlife, that there are certain things where if you fuck up, like you pay for it forever, and getting eaten by the Kroot is apparently one of those things.
Yeah, that's one of them.
You can't let that happen.
Well,
but also,
in the larger sense, it makes sense, right? Because if you're getting eaten in the Kroot, what does that translate to? You died in the melee phase to Tau. Your soul is forfeit.
The Emperor will look at you with scorn. He will
soul is
reject
forfeit.
you from the Golden Throne. The last thing I'll say about the Tau. Ethereals epitomize all that is weak and decadent about the Tau. If you kill the Ethereals, the rest of the Tau will waver and flee. These arrogant fools slink about in their dresses.
He's not wrong.
These arrogant fools slink about in their... They would edit this out now. What do you mean? Wearing a dress is fine.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Hate bigot.
I've got a whole guard unit made up of guys in dresses. These arrogant fools slink about in their dresses, dishing out orders far behind the fighting line, safe from the dirt, blood, and death of war. Repeat this mantra before entering battle with the Tau. Kill the Ethereals. The Ethereals are the de facto leaders of the Tau race, holding themselves above their serfs as they live lives of stupendous luxury. This debauched existence ensures that they are entirely capable of planning and running a military campaign against serious opposition. Be assured they have never confronted the likes of you before. What's interesting, of course, is they're criticizing the Tau for all the things people say about the Imperials.
Right.
Like, oh, the generals are behind the lines. They never see any of this kind of stuff. But, of course, this is one of the things, and this is just the nature of the company and the game, the lore, whatever else. Yet that's like the stereotype, and that's played for laughs in some games and some other things like that. But 15 hours is like a great example. But if you're reading a book about a named character, say, be it a commissar, be it a general or something, they tend to lead from the front.
Yeah.
Why? Because otherwise you wouldn't give a shit about them.
Well, also, if you've gone past a bit of the lore and a bit of these books and everything, and if you picked up a rule book and maybe a few dice, and you played the game for like 5 minutes, you'd be like, where do I put my general? Oh, with like my great unit. Because it makes them better. And I just throw them at you like a fucking piss missile and try to smash open your shit.
And at least with the Astartes,
that's what you do.
At least with the Astartes,
maybe not
they
quite
go
as
to
much with guard. You want them a bit in the backfield, but it's the backbone of your shit. They're putting themselves.
They're better warriors.
They're sending orders out. They're doing all this shit. It's awesome. And then what do you do? Like you throw fucking. Does your lieutenant just sit there? It's like, no, you put them with your shit and you run them up the fucking middle and you bash dudes with a power sword.
We've mentioned it before, but even what is the stereotype? I mean, again, I hate it so much. Lions led by sheep or whatever it was, this idea that like World War I, especially in Britain, the officers were in the back and like sending the men to the slaughter and they didn't do anything. It's like the casualties among officers and among the aristocracy was way higher.
Right.
Even during the times everybody made the poor have always borne the cost of war, the aristocracy.
I mean, anyone that played Tempestus Scions in 10th would understand that. Was it like the Scion bomb where they get this bonus after you deep strike them or after they're deployed from a Valkyrie or some shit? They kill you even better. And so you want to make the single biggest squad possible that you can. So that means putting your command squad, attach it to another unit with a random psyker and then just drop it off there and be like, lethal wounds for everybody.
I don't know if they were overthinking
so you
it here.
Drop them, you take your general and like, yes, he may die, but his plasma pistol might one-shot this Carnifex. So wouldn't that be fucking cool?
Yeah, right.
And you just do that because it was fun.
I don't know if they if they outthought
the way
it
the
here.
game is set up actually goes against the idea. It's like, yeah, you're great campaign general, your Lord Sword.
Yeah, but nobody would do that, right?
Yeah, you don't want to be like. Give Napoleon a musket and put him in the front line.
Have you seen Ridley Scott's Napoleon movie? He was like he was leading the cavalry charges at like Waterloo and shit. Jesus Christ, that pissed me off.
Foolish thing for him to do.
Can you imagine?
I'm the mastermind of this campaign. I'll put myself at risk to be laid low from an
You got Napoleon and Wellington fighting in the middle of the thing. Everyone's it's Achilles and Hector or something. Like, what the fuck are we doing?
The good one was the old that fucking Deadliest Warrior show where they had Napoleon
versus George Washington.
Like a saber fight.
Yeah, and they had George Washington win. It's like, of course George Washington would win. He had like a foot on him.
Yeah. Probably a foot and a half and about like almost 80 pounds.
That doesn't mean, I like to think I'm a pretty patriotic American, but I'm pretty sure Napoleon was a better general than George Washington.
Yeah, I mean, that's no slight on him, on either of them. Washington
was the greatest general who ever lived, yeah.
He was a thug, and I love him for being a thug.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's how we roll.
He's a stud.
Yeah, and he
knew
smashed
dudes.
I mean, we won because
Napoleon also knew what was best in life. What was his wife's name? Whatever.
Josephine,
yeah. I'll be home in 2 weeks.
Don't wash.
That
girls love that shit.
That guy knows what it is.
Love that shit.
He does it, and he likes it.
She cucked him like a million times, though.
I mean, at least Joaquin Phoenix in the movie.
Oh God, don't bring up that movie ever again. This is the worst. Here's the point with all of this: is that there's a lot of funny parts in it. I mean, the thing with the dresses, I'm going to be giggling about like a little kid for a long time. But and obviously there's some stuff that takes shots at the Imperium, like, oh, the enemies are stupid and weak. My favorite is where they have one about unarmed combat, and they have the guy fighting like orcs. And it's like just a normal guardsman holding back an orc like this. With his
just
arm.
like
and
face.
It's like, I don't think that's gonna work. But jokes aside, and there are obviously a lot of it, and it is of course meant to be entertaining. It's supposed to be fun. I mean, believe it or not, this is supposed to be entertainment and fun, and like a detailed political treatise. But it's still
supposed to be fun because it was put out at a time that they didn't hate their customers.
Well, they didn't hate the customers. Yeah, they didn't hate the fans.
To quite the extent.
They probably
They do
always
now.
did, but
No,
not as much.
Well, I would
But
say always.
it does still undermine
Certainly through
itself.
fourth, I don't think they hated their customers at all. I think they loved us.
Yeah,
All the way through fourth.
right.
And then I think fifth was where it started to change.
I mean, that's the big question. It's like, when did the pivot come? Because you can all point to, like,
When did the company learn to hate? Neither came too early nor too late.
the rewards of tolerance.
When
or
Games
treachery
Workshop
and betrayal.
towards their customers began to hate. That's a rewrite. That deserves some attention.
But it undermines
When James
itself.
Workshop
The
learned
satire, and this we see this time and again, where the satire undermines itself because it's inadvertently telling you how you should actually do things.
Right.
Because it's making fun of the way it's an exaggerated version where they're making fun of the way things used to be done. But that was when things were better and things actually got done. Now things are going south, as everybody can see. And they're saying, no, you need to cling to this worldview, this modern worldview more.
Right.
And it's like, but it's failing objectively. So actually, this stuff actually sounds better, even though you're doing it to make fun of it. I mean, even something like duels. They bring up dueling.
Yeah.
And they say, well, soldiers can't fight duels. And officers can fight duels, but only officers of equivalent rank and everything else. And you're sitting there thinking about this, and you're supposed to snicker at the idea of duels. Dueling is a big thing you see in a lot of Imperial Guard novels and stuff. But it's like, but why is that bad?
Dueling
I mean,
is
of all the things that like you
Dueling's
kind
also
of want to
a
bring
form of,
back,
like,
dueling
a
would be
better
up there.
society. Holy
Yes,
shit.
obviously.
Like, imagine if you could be like, hey, let's dodge all the court shit.
Yeah.
You know, it's gonna be this whole rigmarole,
Right.
and we'll fight over it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Or if you want to, if you don't, like, oh, I'm old, I can't fight some young guy. All right, we'll get this old-timey pistol that's probably not going to hit anything.
Right.
Risk death, and then shake hands. Call it a day.
Or have a second.
Yeah,
do it,
right.
You know, but
Right.
but the idea of being able to settle things that way and not be like
Mussolini would fight with duels.
yeah, he did. He fought many, like specifically against people that were like
Mostly journalists, which is
yeah,
another
mostly
reason I like it.
journalists. And he smoked them. There's
Smoked
some
that
old
bastard.
footage of that. It's pretty good.
There was actually one that somebody brought up on the time last year, John Randolph of, I think it was John Randolph of Roanoke against Henry Clay. And they dueled with
yeah.
pistols, yeah. And so they shot at each other. They both missed.
Wasn't that here
Yeah. I
in
think it was-
town?
yeah, I think
Bro,
it was,
that's right by my house. Point of Honor Park.
right.
Yeah, it's right there, and you come in there. There's plaques for it. It's like this is where some of the last duels were
Right,
fought.
right. Well,
Like
Clay-
last ones we're allowed to have here.
Right,
And,
Clay
so-and-so
shot him.
so-and-so. Imagine getting like smoked in a duel, and they put a plaque in a public park where some Negress walks her fucking pit hole every day. That's your legacy. You shouldn't have died there. You
Clay
should have
Clay
died
shot him
somewhere
and
else.
it went through his coat, Randolph's coat. And then John Randolph shot in the air, because at this point, honor satisfied. And they go up, and who knows what the insult was. Presumably it was something pretty serious.
Right.
And John Randolph goes, well, Mr. Clay, you owe me a coat. And he goes, well, I'm glad the debt is no greater. And they shake hands and they're friends. That's it.
Right.
Like, is that so fucking hard? Like, imagine how many problems in life could be solved where you're pissed enough to kill someone. You go and you do it.
You both face
You
death
both-
together, even opposed.
And now you shake, and it's done.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, just think of the girls are they have no idea how this works. The idea that, like, there can be a grievance between two men that settled, as opposed to a lifelong series of plots and counterplots to
petty
destroy each other.
backstabbing and intersexual sabotage you can commit throughout her time. Your hair would look so much better shorter. You should really cut your hair. Those dudes would be like
Seducing each other's like husbands and fucking with each other's like businesses and
Yeah,
everything
like-
else.
yeah,
Men are
like-
just like, let's punch each other twice and then shake hands and then we're
like
friends
I beat
forever.
the shit out of this dude, and like I hit him, his head started bouncing off the concrete to the point he was unconscious, and like I felt his nose break under my hand. It's like I don't really want to kill him, and you see him later. It's like
Hug it out, it's done.
yeah, you're like oh, all right, man.
Yeah, and like even something like this, but also the idea that it's something only a gentleman can do,
Right.
and also a gentleman can only do it to somebody of equal
And
rank.
to have the restriction on it, because the gentleman, nobility, the idea of being gentleman is having a part of this spirit of nobility.
Well, command over yourself. You don't just fucking kill him,
That
right?
you have
Yeah.
restraint. It's like, oh, you shot and then you missed in the duel and you walk up because you already shot his one shot, and then you fucking wah out. And
Yeah,
shoot
right.
him
You
point
can't.
blank right
That's
in the
not the
face.
way we do
yeah,
things.
That's not
yeah,
how it
that's
works,
not how it works.
Well, the idea of menswear and everything.
Right. When
And
I
like,
was
yeah,
over
you'll
in
stand there and like, yeah, there may not be like fatal damage, but like you're going to spend the rest of your life potentially, and you're not going to get a cool scar. I was talking to my buddies about this, and he was up there with you, And talking about how, you go in there, and sir, it's going to take a lot of fucking balls to be like, I'm probably not going to die. You have a chainmail collar on. You have the goggles that protect your eyes from getting
There's
cut
still
out,
real danger, though.
that protect your nose from getting cut off. But, like, you can take one right across here and not be able to chew anymore because your jaw muscle is severed halfway between your jawbone and the top of your head. You can get a scar that doesn't look cool. Everyone loves the nice the Scorzeny.
Yeah, you might get a really fucked up looking one.
Yeah, you might get that, but you might get one that like goes right straight over your mouth and like your lips puckered down and up and your face looks like a fucking butthole for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And the whole ear comes off. Like, that's not cool. You go in there and you do it and you're like, but I might get one that looks cool.
Yeah.
And I stood up there like on a box against somebody that was also on a box and we just swung swords at each other until somebody quit.
There's a whole technique to it and everything else. And I got to swing the sword around a little bit and it's like, this gets pretty heavy after a little while. And like there's a whole thing of, because you got to be pretty precise with these strokes, right? And there's also a certain code of honor in like what you should and should not do. Like you don't want to give the other guy that aforementioned scar where you fuck up his lip forever.
Fucking the anus.
That's kind of frowned upon, right? But like you do want to hurt him. Like you are trying to hurt him. You're just trying not to like ruin his life. Which is,
he's
I think,
also trying to hit you.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like the correct code of male conduct, where it's like you're fighting. Like I want to hurt this guy, but I don't want to like destroy him. That's the difference,
right?
You know?
Yeah. Which is the way, like, in wilderness, most animals fight.
Right. It's a real fight, but
animals will fight with a higher sense of actual nobility than we see it in some, like, I wouldn't say humans, but like hominids.
Yeah.
Like hominid-like swarthy forms. They don't understand the honor of the duel as much as like you watch grizzly bears. They can easily kill each other, like absolutely crush their sexual competition. And they go in and like, I will just establish that I won this. And the other one leaves, and they allow the other one to leave.
Well, because they
don't get him on the ground and like jump up and down on his head 45 times.
Right. Kick him in the head and put it on Live League or whatever the fuck it is.
The one that lost would be like, okay, I lost. I'm going to have to go somewhere else and try to stake my claim over there.
The grizzly bear shouts World Star. But there's a whole series of cultural assumptions that you get like a really cool look into with this. And I gotta say, even though it's satire, even though it's funny, even though there are some really funny lines, it's just better. Like it's actually better. This is the idea of an armed force in defense of a society that believes in itself, that believes in its people, that believes that it's not just its God, but its people and its political order are holy, not just righteous, but holy, sacred.
Yeah.
Like this is something that existed in Europe not that long ago. I mean, that's how people used to think of like the empire and stuff. And this is what's been lost.
Acknowledging that you are fighting a spiritual war with physical means against people who are diametrically opposed to your existence.
Right. And I think that one of the great lines it says at the end is, ask not why, just do.
Yeah.
I think our society would be a lot better off if people practice that. All right, guys. I think that's a good place to end it. This has been Grimdark Enlightenment. Catch you guys later.
See you, folks.